Sue Parker, founder of Elite. I wanted to share a fantastic podcast with you this week that was all about confidence, the science of confidence. And bear with me here. Have you had an experience where you have had a lot of negative comments thrown at you by a manager or by somebody close to you, maybe a friend or your partner, and you are therefore struggling to build confidence as a result of all this negativity that seems to be coming your way? And that's exactly what the topic of this podcast is about. So I was listening to Lewis Howes' podcast, The School of Greatness, and in this particular episode, looking at the science of confidence. And in this podcast episode, he was talking about, well, how do you build confidence when you're constantly hearing negative feedback? And I picked up 3 fantastic tips that I want to share with you today. And I'm sure, like me, you've probably experienced a negative manager at some point, or maybe a team leader who everything, no matter how hard you work, how fantastic and thorough everything is, and what you present, sometimes it's still not good enough. And you're getting that pick negative comments all the time. And just to differentiate between negative and constructive. So a constructive would be things like, okay, I notice that you've done it like this, or you work like this. I suggest that next time you maybe, so let's say it's a presentation, next time you have a slide that highlights the benefits to those business users, or maybe you want to adjust that slide to make it clearer to these users who don't understand these bits, what it is that you're trying to get across. So that would be a constructive piece of criticism, whereas negative feedback all the time is constantly, you're no good at this, you're not doing that very well, you don't communicate very well. Well, great, but what can I do with that information apart from become beaten down? And this particular podcast is all about, I'm not going to lie to you, it's all about sports and coaching, but there are so many takeaways that I thought we can definitely apply in our roles in professional organizations, corporate organizations, public sector, private sector, basically in the world of work. We just apply it in a different way, this science of confidence. And over time, what we need to recognize is these negative thoughts then start to become your thoughts that affect your belief system. And this creates that self-doubt. And that's what we want to get away from, is it breaking you down so that eventually you feel that you can't do anything else. You maybe you feel that you can't even do what it is that you're actually doing now. So, we all get a little bit of this sort of discomfort when we step outside our comfort zone and we do something new, because we're all, for the first time, we've all been a new developer, we've all been a new tester, we've been there and been a new project manager or head of department or a new director. And when you get into that position, it's stopping yourself from telling yourself that you're only there because you knew somebody, or because you're a woman, or because you're a minority. It's making sure that whatever the negativity that's going on around is not affecting your belief system, and you build that confidence, because it's from that position that you'll perform your best. So let's get to this, how do you build your confidence when you're constantly hearing negative comments all the time, and not give that negative person, that influencer, so much authority over you and how you're feeling and your self-belief? So step 1, you need to take yourself back to a position where you were celebrating your wins and achievements. Think about it, that feeling that you had when you knew you'd achieved, you were on top of the world and you were doing a fantastic job. You felt proud, accomplished, confident. You had that self-belief. In the world of work, we don't have a wall full of trophies and record awards and medals that we can go and sort of, admire every time we want to remind ourselves of the incredible achievements that we've had. So what you're going to do is have your own record of achievement, your own rainy day letter or brag bank. You're going to write down all the amazing achievements that you had, all the things that you did where you were at that powerful moment, to remind yourself. And you've got to read it back. And at that time when you're writing it down, you're thinking, I went here, I achieved this degree, I went and did my master's, my PhD, or I got this job role and I delivered this brilliant project, and this is how much money we save for the company, and this is the value of it. When you're writing those things down, at the time, it's probably just going to feel a little bit like a CV. And don't forget to include all the other things in there. But afterwards, it's really powerful a few days or weeks later when you bring that out and you're feeling low, to remind yourself of just what you have achieved, because we so easily forget Or even better still, if you can get somebody else to write a letter for you or a note, 3 things that they see as your achievement that are fantastic about you. Imagine reading something like that. And if you've got close friends, I would absolutely advise you do this to them. You know, it's like the ultimate LinkedIn recommendation here. So you could even do the Google I am remarkable approach, where you write down a list of things. I am remarkable because, and then tell me, I am remarkable because, and read it back to you. Because I am brave, because I delivered this presentation, this TEDx talk, or whatever it was. I am remarkable because. All those things that we don't have a wall of trophies in our house for, but we have to remind ourselves just the same at times that when we get beaten and our self-belief is starting to doubt. Okay, so on to tip number 2. We put up with a lot, but we don't have to. We stay in what we think is a comfortable position, but actually we're not always happy in that position because we're having negativity put on us. We're being told how worthless we are all the time, but we feel trapped. Maybe we feel trapped because of money, our belief about the company that we're in, that actually this should be a great opportunity and I should be very lucky. And maybe you've got family members that tell you, oh, you're incredibly lucky, you have a great job. So I want you to think about, who do you allow to have authority over your feelings, over what you believe in yourself? And what can you do about it? One simple strategy is to reduce the exposure, limit the time that you spend with that person that has that negative influence over your self-belief. And sure, with some family members, that's really difficult. They might be close. And it might be difficult with your immediate line manager. But what you've got to do is find strategies to reduce this time, to reduce this exposure so that this negativity is not constantly beaming down on you. And then you need to surround yourself with the people that get the best out of you, that help to build your confidence so that you can raise your standards with them. Remember, we are the people that we surround ourselves with. They directly relate to our success. Another idea is to feed back. So try to turn that negative comment, you've just been told this isn't very good, into a constructive one that you can actually develop and do something with. So for example, how would you suggest I improve this? And what should I be focusing on? Can you give me some support, some training, some guidance, some coaching? Whatever it is. So you're trying to basically turn that negativity into something that's an action. And immediately when you start to take that action, you realize you're starting to improve on that area. And you're also perhaps training that manager or that colleague, that friend or family member, how to better give feedback. If you can't do either of those things, then you're going to reach a point, preferably before your confidence is completely shattered, where you'll need to move on. Find a place that aligns with your values, that you feel fulfilled and purposeful, and that's what you need to do. If you're a leader, some managers don't do positive feedback, and I'm not saying here that you have to, but perhaps try encouragement, because encouragement is showing somebody that if they replicate the same process, they will get similar results in the future, and that's actually a really good learning exercise. Okay, here is the last tip, tip number 3, which is going to sound really strange. But when I talk about the science of confidence, that is because there is a lot of research that suggests these things actually really work. So you know when you see an athlete beat their chest or do some sort of ritual that pumps them up right before they're about to take a kick or a swing or run or whatever it is that they do. They're using a technique of centering using physical activity. And people have been talking about this for years, but scientists have only just been starting to prove this theory more recently. And you can either go all in with this and beat your chest and do all that kind of stuff like you would right before a presentation, or you can start with small steps. So to begin with, take some deep breaths, take back control. Take a walk. I think Liz talked about this in our interview, Liz Manns. So go for a walk, center yourself. You're doing a physical activity, take a strong, powerful walk across the office and smile. Shoulders back, upright. Tony Robbins talks about standing there, shoulders back, standing upright, hands on hips. Now do you feel like you can deal with it? Yes, I can deal with it. And he had a whole audience that was standing there who had issues like anxiety, who had things going on in their business that they thought they couldn't handle. And all of a sudden, just by doing that physical centering, they felt able to take everything on. So it is really powerful. Athletes and actors obviously do some really extravagant things. And if you feel that you can do that, maybe going to the gym allows you that exertion, that ability to express yourself physically in such a way that it makes you feel more confident and like you can deal with it. Yeah, you might also want to repeat affirmations to yourself. So some people, when they're preparing themselves for a presentation or for a big event, they might pump themselves up in the mirror and they might say, you got this, you can do this. Yeah, whatever phrases it is that makes you feel like, actually, I can do this, I can learn anything. I work really hard and I know I can learn anything. So that rather than the negative thoughts feeding into our belief system, we have some positive affirmations feeding into our belief system. So try centering yourself with a physical activity. I hope you find this as useful as I have. I've got the link to the full podcast below. I'd really like to know, have you tried any of these things? Have you got other suggestions, things that you've tried to deal with those negative comments? And if you know somebody that would like to hear this, that needs to hear this, then please share it with your network. And if you want to listen to the full podcast, the link is below this video. You're probably wondering what the palm tree is actually in the background. The palm tree is for a party. Have a fantastic week, folks. Bye.